Hi everyone, welcome to the start of another reading vlog. It is Friday the 23rd of July. We are still in lockdown. No one is surprised by this. And this weekend I am planning on reading through some of my Netgalley arcs because I've got a whole stack of them that have just banked up that I haven't been able to get to. So it is currently a couple of minutes to 9 o'clock. I'm about to jump online with my students and we're going to do our morning meeting. I'm really tired, but it'll be good to see their faces. So I will check in a little bit later with you and let you know what is currently on my Netgalley TBR and what I'm hoping to get through this weekend. I'm going to try and just power through some of my July releases so that I can get reviews up for them in a timely fashion. And yeah, that's about the plan. So stay tuned. Alright, so my meetings are done with the kids for the day, but I've still got the rest of the day to give feedback on work and things like that. But for now, I am taking a walking lunch break because I'll need to do 2 of these today to close my move ring. So I'm going to go for a walk, come back, eat something, correct the rest of the work, and then I've got a team leaders meeting that I'm attending at 2 o'clock. Hi guys, so it is now 4:45 on Friday night. So the day is done and I am officially tired of online meetings for the week. So we're just going to see how the rest of the night pans out. I think we are planning on watching a movie with my book club. That would be very nice if that's what we're doing tonight. However, I said that I would let you know what is currently on my Netgalley TBR, and I currently have, what is it, 8. Actually no, technically it's 7 because I've read one of them. I have The World's Most Pointless Animals by Philip Bunting, which is a children's picture book, which I have actually read. I just need to review it. So that will happen this weekend. In terms of other books, I have 5 other books that are coming out in July. So there is The Rules of Arrangement by Anisha, Bhatia, which came out on the 13th. I have Catch Us the Foxes by Nicola, which came out on the 7th. Me In Bendigo by Eva Scott, which comes out on the 28th. Trusting Molly by Susan Stoker, which comes out on the 13th of July. And Undercover Engagement by Samanthe Beck, which comes out on the 26th of July. So tonight I am planning on reading Catch Us the Foxes, which I believe is a mystery thriller type book. Anyway, this one was recommended to me and I've had it sitting on my Netgalley TBR for months, but I'm hoping to read that tonight. And then I would also really like to try and get The Rules of Arrangement read, possibly Me In Bendigo, and Trusting Molly if I can. And since I can't go anywhere, that should be doable. That said, I'm also planning on maybe live streaming tomorrow, which I know is ridiculous given that the amount of time I've spent on screens this week, but I'm thinking of using that time to write reviews for books that I have to review, because I have to review Fallon by Jessica Gadziella. I have to review 2 picture books, so the Philip Bunting book and another picture book that I have. I thought there was something else. So there's a few things that I've got to get to. So yeah, maybe I'll live stream tomorrow. So quick check-in, I am 20% into Catch Us the Foxes by Nicola, and I'm really intrigued by it. So it is like a mystery thriller type story, and it's set in a regional Australian town, and the story is told from the perspective of Marlo, or Lo, and she is in her early 20s. She dreams of being a journalist, and at the very beginning of the book it opens with her being interviewed about a true crime book that she has published because she was witness to the murder of her best friend in this small town when they were in their early 20s. So you start with this interview that's starting to happen, and then we cut to the story that Marlo has written. It's basically recounting the events and everything that happened. She was at the local fair. She was there photographing the showgirls for an article. When she went to go back to meet her father at the sort of conclusion of the fair for the fireworks show, she stumbled across the body of her best friend. And her father is the local police chief, police officer, head police person, words, of this town. And when she found her friend, there were these markings carved onto her back, and when her father sees them, he asks her to pretend like she has not seen them, and if anyone asks her, to say that her body was covered. So it's all this intrigue. So I'm really very interested in continuing it, but it is nearly time to watch Mission Impossible with the book club girls, so I'm gonna get ready for that. Hi guys, so I'm about to start streaming live. It is Saturday morning, and I didn't get a chance to update you last night after I finished watching Mission Impossible, which has probably not dated particularly well. However, after that finished, I did keep reading a bit more of Catch Us the Foxes, so I'm about 56% of the way in. It's an interesting book. I'm very conflicted about it because it has so many of my favorite things that I love in thrillers. It has a cult in a small town, and I'm almost certain the narrator of the story, Lo, is not reliable. So like there's things that I really like, and it's very atmospheric and it's very well written and very compelling. I also know that it has mixed reviews because it's actually set in a real Australian coastal town, and I know some people have an issue with that because they're concerned about the impact on the people there. Now I have to say that I'm pretty sure this book is not going to turn me off visiting Kiama at all. I mean, that's just me. So I think it's an interesting choice that the author has made to set it in a real town, and I'm pretty sure she grew up there or she is from an area near there. It does add an element of realism to the story so far, and it does really feel like a small coastal Australian town. But yeah, it's an interesting choice to set it in a real place instead of a fictional place based on a real place, if that makes sense. And I know the other thing that people had said in reviews or early reviews for it was there's some really weird assumptions made about the character and her sexual orientation or the way she identifies, and some of the conclusions it makes towards mental health and mental state. So I haven't picked up on that significantly yet. I'm interested to see what I think in the next 50% of the book. What I can say, and I think what everyone has agreed with, is that you really can't guess who is behind everything yet. So I'm kind of conflicted because it's exactly the kind of deeply atmospheric book that I really like, but I just need to make sure I'm paying attention to the potentially problematic elements. I'm gonna get the rest of this set up for live streaming. All right, so the live show is done. I'll leave a link to it on the screen. I was productive. I got 3 reviews written and I started updating the book bullet journal, and then I just got a Saturday package from Better World Books, which I know I ordered something at the start of the month. I can't remember what it was. It feels like 3 books, so let's just open it and see what it is. I don't remember ordering these, but okay. I must. Who knows? Anyway, they are secondhand library copies from Tiffany Rice's Men at Work holiday series. So there's her Halloween Treat, which I read every year, her Naughty Holiday, which is the Thanksgiving one, and then One Hot December, which is the Christmas one. So they do have all the library stuff on them, but hey, that's kind of cool. Okay, so I just finished Catch Us the Foxes and I'm conflicted. So I did really enjoy the writing, and I really enjoyed the sense of atmosphere and the general creepiness of the book. And I think Nicola West did a really good job with all of that. However, I am not thrilled with the prologue of the book or what it did, because I don't think there was enough in the reveal for what it was trying to do. I think I also mentioned earlier that it's set in a real town, which doesn't bother me, might bother other people. I certainly am not going to be judging the people who live there by this book by any stretch. But I suppose the things that you probably have to be really conscious of going into this book is there is a significant amount of homophobia in this book. And I thought it was really interesting, and I don't know whether this is just the Netgalley arc proof of the book or whether it is in the finished copy. There's a whole lot of swearing in this book, but the only censored words in the book are things to do with homophobic slurs, which I'm not saying I want to see them in a book, but I find it interesting that if you're going to censor anything, that's what you're censoring. You either don't put it in there or put it in there and use it as a point of dealing with said homophobia, which didn't happen. So that wasn't thrilling. It also deals with a lot of mental health issues, but not in enough depth for it to actually have an impact. Like, we get told that a lot of these characters have particular traits or mental health issues, but nothing is done about it, or we're not seen to see anything done about it. So I don't know, I'm super conflicted because, like, at a surface level, I really enjoy this book for what it did atmospherically, with the fact that it deals with small towns and cults and crazy things happening, and you're constantly guessing who is responsible. So like, that side of it was really interesting. But yeah, there's just a few other elements in it that, I don't know, possibly could have been better handled. I am glad that I read it. I'm glad that I formed my own opinion on it. I would be very interested in seeing what Nicola West does next, because this is her debut book. So yes, we will see. I decided to start The Rules of Arrangement by Anisha, and I think I'm gonna have to DNF it. I'm a little bit of the way into the book, but already there's just so many fatphobic comments, and part of it I know is potentially cultural, and like I would really like to read this book because it's set in India. The heroine and the hero are Indian. There's a lot of that culture that's woven into the book, and that side of it is really great, but I don't think I can deal with the fatphobic comments. And I suspect that even though this has been marketed as a romance, that it's going to potentially be more a general fiction with a romance subplot rather than a romance. I think I'm just gonna have to give this one a miss, which is a real shame because I was very interested in reading it. So it's nearly midnight on Saturday night, and after I DNF'd the Rules of Arrangement, I started reading Trusting Molly by Susan Stoker, which is a romantic suspense story, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was a very easy read. It is the third book in her Silverstone books, and no, I have not read books 1 and 2, but I probably will be because they sound really interesting, so I'll be checking that out very soon. But this one is about a group of 4 ex-military men who now have sort of this paramilitary group that every now and then goes out on missions that the government can't send current military members on. And at the beginning of this book, they're in Nigeria because a group of schoolgirls have been kidnapped, and they're there to take down one of the rebel leaders. And it's also suspected that an American woman was kidnapped alongside these girls. The team leader of Silverstone, Mark, ends up literally falling on top of the missing woman, and he ends up taking Molly, the American woman who was kidnapped, under his wing and begins to have feelings with her. And it's all very fast-paced and everything happens very quickly, but I did enjoy it. It was a very easy read. It was kind of fun. I'm quite happy to read something that's just relatively low angst like this one. The only thing to be probably aware of is that Molly, aside from being kidnapped and held in a foreign country for months, also has a crazy ex-stalker, and that's sort of the third act problem in this story because he's constantly after her. But at the same time, you know what, the book was what it was and it was really fun, and I really didn't have any of that nagging sense that I've had in the last 2 books of things that really bother me. There's definitely things in there that are just not always my cup of tea in a book, but nothing bad. So yeah, I think that was rather successful. So I will check in tomorrow with whatever it is that I plan on reading next. Happy Sunday morning, guys. I forgot to film straight after my fitness classes, but I did my shadowboxing class and I did a Pilates class. 2 different studios, so 2 different Zoom meetings, which I was jumping around like a crazy person trying to get to both of them on time because I slept in. Oops. But I've just showered. I haven't put any makeup on yet, but I've got to finish off my filming notes, put my makeup on, do my filming today. I'm going to do a Books Beside My Bed and my July book haul, I think, and then a little bit of work, then hopefully a whole lot of reading. Hot Mess Express filming. I wish I could say that I tidied all of this up, but no, I just sat on it while I filmed because I really couldn't be bothered. And now I've got to sort out all of those books and the clothes on the chair. All right, sorry about the dishwasher in the background, but I am just getting everything ready for Monday and Tuesday's online lessons because fingers crossed we'll be back on Wednesday. So these are our lesson plans because we plan collectively, and then we've been planning all the tasks on Seesaw, so we have all the links highlighted. So I've just gone through and assigned all of those to the kids for the first 2 days, and now I'm just going through and checking all of our live lessons and downloading the materials for that. So I thought I would just leave the camera on while I do it. Hopefully after this is done, I'm done with work for today, and then I can do some reading. That would be ideal. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea of what I've done, I've taken what was on our lesson plan and added it to Active Inspire, which is our whiteboard software. So on Monday, one of our mini lessons, we are talking about asking questions. So we're going to be doing a what we know, what we want to know, what we learnt, or KWL chart about frogs, practicing using our question words. And then we're going to start off by the kids telling us what they already know, then asking questions about what they want to know, and then we're going to read a little bit of this book, which I'm going backwards to the front page, because I forgot to do that before, is just a book from one of our online programs that I've done some screenshots of, just so I can highlight and things, and we'll just pick and choose what it is that we want to read from the book, and then we'll go back to our KWL chart and fill in the what we learnt section. And then on Tuesday we're also going to be starting addition stories, so we're going to use frogs, just keeping the theme going. And one of my colleagues made this flip chart so that we can start to tell stories using language, and then we're going to make our own. And I modified this slide because I know that I can create drag and drop pictures so that we can create our own story. So yeah, I've just been modifying and fixing up things so that it works for how I teach my kids. Okay, so I just started Meet Me in Bendigo by Eva Scott, and it's going to be fun. So Bendigo is a town in Victoria, and the heroine lives in this small town and runs a family hardware store that's been in her family for generations. And so far she hasn't met the hero. They've only talked online through like an online message board and become sort of texting buddies. And we've just met him. His name is Ed, and his family runs a hardware chain store. So we know how this one's gonna go, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's not often I get rural romances set in Victoria, so I'm very eager to see how I enjoy this one. All right, so I've taken my makeup off, I've had a shower, and I'm getting ready to chill out for the night. But I did finish Meet Me in Bendigo, and I did enjoy it. I wish that there hadn't have been such a big catfishing plot in this book, which for some reason I just seem to keep seeing it in books recently. I don't know, maybe it's a thing. I just felt like it went on way too long, because the rest of it, that whole enemies to lovers, opposite sides, big corporation versus family business, like that stuff I find really interesting, how the two characters connect beyond that. So you have Ed, who works for a big Bunnings-like warehouse, and you have Annalisa, who is managing the family hardware store that's been in her family for generations. And she doesn't want to see it go because it's part of her family history and her family legacy. Unbeknownst to Annalisa, she and Ed have been talking the whole time leading up to their first face-to-face meeting via an online message board. And they get along great, and they've actually got a lot in common. And Ed is feeling really trapped in his family. He was forced to go and work with his family and his half-siblings when his own gardening business went under during the pandemic, and he had nowhere else to turn, so he had to work for them. And now he's forced into all these situations where he would personally prefer to see smaller businesses flourish because he had one. But he's also a bit of a dick about it at times, because he's the one to realize who Annalisa is and that she's the other person that he's been talking to, and he doesn't tell her, and it takes the entire book to get there. While that was not my favorite element of the story, I liked everything else, and I loved that it was set in the Bendigo area because I know that from my childhood, and all of that felt really real, and all of the side characters were gorgeous and great. But yes, can we just do away with the catfishing plots? That's all I would like. Hi everyone. So it's like 11 p.m. and I've still got 38% of Undercover Engagement to go. I don't think I actually updated you guys when I started reading it, because I started reading it while waiting to start watching The Terminator. It's about 2 recently graduated police officers from different organizations who've been asked to go on an undercover assignment to uncover a local drug ring, I think. And it is an enemies to lovers sort of situation. They were first and second in their graduating class, with Eden graduating top of her class. Yeah, she's very unhappy to be going undercover with Mark, because she just thinks that he is lazy and someone who gets by just by doing things rather than putting in the effort. So they go undercover as a couple who are recently engaged and living beyond their means. Yeah, it's interesting. It's very, very steamy. The sexual tension between the two of them is top notch. I'm enjoying it. I'm gonna finish it before I go to bed, and I'll let you know how I go. All right, so I finished Undercover Engagement and it was fun. I mean, it still had the third act dramatic breakup, which was kind of linked into the case that they're investigating, so I kind of get it, but yeah, still. I do like it when we manage to find a way of having a third act without a breakup. But that means I finished the books for this reading vlog. I read 4, I DNF'd 1. I am actually really pleased with how much I got read this weekend. Once I type up all of my reviews for these books, then I will be 4 books lighter on my Netgalley TBR, and that is amazing. And it has also cleared the path for me to read Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I got approved for. So I'm really excited about that. So just to recap, I read 4 books, I DNF'd 1, I read a total of 1,419 pages. The books that I read included Catch Us the Foxes by Nicola, which was the Australian mystery thriller book. Some questionable content in there, but overall solid debut book from the author. Then I DNF'd The Rules of Arrangement by Anisha because I just couldn't deal with the weight shaming, and I just don't really want to read that in books these days. I read Trusting Molly by Susan Stoker, and I'm really excited to try more Susan Stoker books in the future. I did enjoy Me In Bendigo by Eva Scott. I do have another Eva Scott book that I received last year in physical copy as a review copy that I haven't read yet, so I might try and pick that up in the next week or so. And then finally I read Undercover Engagement by Samanthe Beck, and that was a lot of fun as well. So that is the end of this particular reading vlog. If you're planning on picking up any of these books, or if you've already read them, feel free to let me know in the comments and discuss. Otherwise, if you want to let me know that you're here but you don't want to leave a comment, feel free to leave me a fox emoji in the comments. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.